What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, we give our takes on AEW. It is Wednesday night, December 7th, 2022. This is your AEW Dynamite review tonight. I'm flying solo by myself. No Wesley Williams, no Cameron Johnson tonight, but that is all good. I got it covered tonight. AEW here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. A little bit break from the Miami Dolphins. We're going to get back at it on Friday with the preview for the Dolphins-Chargers game. But tonight we're just going to sit back, relax. We're going to talk some wrestling for a couple minutes. Some AEW. I thought it was a really good show tonight. I enjoyed the show. There were some parts I really wasn't into. But overall, I did enjoy the show. I thought it was really good, and I thought it built really nicely going into the big Winners Coming show, which is next week, and some rivalries that are going to be going into the new year, 2023, and all that, man. I mean, shit. We're going to talk about all of it. Big night for Ricky Starks. That was by far probably my favorite moment of the night, and we're going to talk about that here shortly. But thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. Go check out all the latest videos that I've had on my channel, wrestling, football related. I haven't done an AEW review since Full Gear. I apologize for that. But if you haven't already, and you're a fan of football, particularly the Miami Dolphins, be sure to go ahead and check out all the latest Miami Dolphin videos here on the channel. Without further ado, man, let's get into the show. I'm gonna take a sip of my soda right here. We're good to go. So, show started off with the Battle Royal. I'm not really even going to talk about the Battle Royal because I just want to get to the promo battle between MJF and Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks won the Dynamite the number one contendership for that Dynamite Diamond ring. I really don't know what's the purpose of it anymore, besides the fact that, you know, it's a part of MJF's gimmick, and he's never gonna lose that Dynamite Diamond ring. He's just not going to. It's been a part of his gimmick ever since he's been in AEW. So Ricky Starks won. He eliminated Ethan Page last to win that Battle Royal, and was immediately interrupted by MJF. MJF came out, started talking smack. He said Bryan Danielson, like, he's a coward for not showing up tonight, because in kayfabe they said Bryan Danielson's not at the show tonight because he's still at the hospital with William Regal, because MJF turned his back on William Regal last week because that was a way to write off William Regal because he's leaving AEW. We're going to talk about that later on when we get to what happened with the Blackpool Combat Club tonight. But he started talking about Bryan Danielson and how much of a coward he is because he left William Regal. I'm pretty sure that's your Revolution main event right there for the World Championship. Bryan Danielson against MJF. I wouldn't be shocked if AEW starts building to that main event after the match next week with Ricky Starks and MJF. And, I think this is possibly one of the biggest storylines in the history of AEW so far. It has potential to be. I'm not going to say it is, but it has potential to be one of the biggest storylines in the history of AEW, and that is the Reign of Terror from MJF. So, and it starts with Ricky Starks. This was phenomenal, man. Ricky Starks owned it tonight. I think He's got the match next week. It's obvious that Ricky Starks is not going to beat MJF. Let's be real here. But this was a star-making moment for Ricky Starks, going head-to-head with the best guy in all of wrestling on the microphone. And quite frankly, I thought he was better on the microphone tonight than MJF. MJF never cuts a bad promo, but, you know, something tonight it was mostly trashing Texas and trashing Ricky Starks and telling him to go back to YouTube and wrestle under Billy Corgan. Ricky just owned it in the ring tonight. He owned it against MJF head-to-head on the microphone. MJF then went low on Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks hit a spear to MJF, held up the World Championship, and pretty much cursed himself out of winning the World Championship next week, or what MJF calls it, the Triple B, the Big Burberry Belt. So, but no, man, that was a really good back and forth segment between Ricky Starks and MJF. And even though I know Ricky's not going to win next week, it does make me excited to see the match. It really does. So, that was that. That was probably my favorite thing on the show tonight. Was that back and forth between Ricky Starks and MJF. Let's talk about the TNT Championship. We got Darby Allin against Samoa Joe. This was a really good TNT Championship match. I can't remember. It's tough. Because I was looking forward to the triple threat that happened at Full Gear. And I thought it was fine, but they just didn't get enough time for that TNT title match. I can't remember the last time I was actually this into a match for the TNT Championship, because it's mostly been jobbers and lower card guys challenging for the TNT Championship. And Darby Allin, who's higher up than the likes of Ariya Daivari and Tony Nese and Matt Taven, who've been the guys who've gotten title shots. This was really fun. Darby Allin got his ass whooped all match. Had a nice comeback. Almost defeated Samoa Joe. But man, Darby Allin, dude, Tony, you gotta pay the man extra tonight, man. He laid his ass out on the line in that TNT title match, and he took an ass kicking from Samoa Joe, and it made Samoa Joe look like NXT Samoa Joe. And I'm talking about the early days when Samoa Joe was the NXT champion before he got called up to the main roster. He was lethal tonight, man. Lethal. And I love this side of Samoa Joe. I think this has potential, really, if it's going to be a long reign, because they fumbled the bag with Wardlow's TNT title reign really badly by giving him challengers that aren't even on, if above or close to his level. Now, Samoa Joe wrestled AR Fox. Now, granted, we don't know. AR Fox isn't a top mid-card main event guy. Excuse me. Darby Allin is. And we need to see more of that, man. Because that match was really fun. So we need to see more of those matches for the TNT Championship with Samoa Joe. And then after the match, he takes Darby Allin and he gives him a muscle buster onto the skateboard, man. That had to friggin' hurt. The bumps that this man took tonight. My goodness. Darby Allin is a madman, dude. Insane. We got more Blackpool Combat Club, JAS. Yippee. We had We had Claudio and Wheeler Yuta against Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia. Jon Moxley was with them. Jon Moxley actually came out of the tunnel. He didn't come through the crowd. He walked out the babyface tunnel, which, I don't know, man. Seems weird to me. I mean, when was the last time we've seen Jon Moxley walk out of a tunnel? Never. He's always coming through the crowd. But we had Blackpool Combat Club against Jericho Appreciation Society again. Jake Hager and Daniel Garcia representing the JAS. The Blackpool Combat Club get the win tonight. I'm just so over this, man. Please. I'm so over the Blackpool Combat Club against the Jericho Appreciation Society. I hope after Saturday it's all over. We can move on and just freaking move on, because these factions need it. So what was interesting is after the match, Tony Schiavone was in the ring, and he was interviewing the Blackpool Combat Club guys, and he said, you know, it's been a rough couple weeks for the Combat Club. Jon Moxley lost the AEW World Championship at Full Gear, and William Regal was taken out last week by MJF. Bryan Danielson's still at the hospital with him, kayfabe, and William Regal had a message for the Blackpool Combat Club, which was basically him saying that, you know, MJF, you know, he didn't like what he did to Tony Schiavone, and he doesn't like the past emails from MJF. So William Regal figured, you know what, I'm gonna give him what he wants. I'm gonna give him the AEW World Championship. I'm gonna help him out by doing that. And he said, the only way this interview is going to be aired is if something really bad happens to me. And last week, he was knocked out by MJF, stretchered into the ambulance, and written off television. He's done with AEW, apparently. Didn't sign the extension for another year, and he's done with AEW. More than likely, he's going back to WWE with Triple H in charge of things now with creative. He can't be on television until I believe a year it is. So he's probably going to be doing some backstage stuff with WWE. So, but he said that the only way this interview is going to be aired is if something bad happens to me. And he says he knows that in the Combat Club there's 3 phenomenal professional wrestlers. He's talking about Moxley, Danielson, Claudio, and he says he knows that the Combat Club doesn't need William Regal anymore, but they're not going to get rid of him, and he trusts the 3 main guys in the Combat Club to make Wheeler Yuta the best professional wrestler that he can be, because Wheeler Yuta is the young guy of the Blackpool Combat Club. And he said, I did what I did at Full Gear to teach Jon Moxley one last lesson that I could give him, and that's to always keep eyes in the back of your head and always have one step forward in front of your opponents that you're facing against. And he says, basically confirming that he's leaving, saying, fellas, it's been emotional, and I'll be Blackpool Combat Club until the day I die. That day I die. I think this is probably the best way AEW could have handled this situation with William Regal leaving AEW, explaining to the Combat Club why he did what he did at Full Gear, and he did it for the betterment of the group, to teach them leadership and to always keep their eyes in the back of the head, and basically saying, like, I'm not needed here anymore. We have 3 phenomenal leaders who should now have the responsibility to teach Wheeler how to be the best wrestler that he can be. I love it, man. It seems like the Combat Club isn't going away. It's going to be staying as a faction, and I think that's best. I think that's the best way you can go about it, man. And I've seen. I don't keep up with wrestling Twitter much nowadays, but I see little rumblings. Sometimes I'll scroll past the wrestling opinion, and I'll read it for a couple seconds. I saw someone say, should AEW replace the manager for the Blackpool Combat Club now that William Regal's not in AEW anymore? Should they bring in Nigel McGuinness? And I think after that, I don't think you can replace William Regal. So, because William Regal fit as the leader, as the manager of that faction, like a glove. So, but yeah, I think that was probably the best way that AEW could handle the William Regal situation. And I thought they handled it beautifully. So, but best of luck to William Regal, and he's going to be missed in AEW, man. So, yeah. Jay Cargill and the Baddies against Sky Blue, Kiera Hogan, and Madison Rayne. Don't care. Jay Cargill and the Baddies win in 8 minutes. It was alright for what it was. Then we have the main event. The main event for the AEW Tag Team titles. We have FTR against The Acclaim. Oh, something I want to bring up real quick. There was a backstage interview with Tony Schiavone and Saraya, which was interrupted by Britt Baker. And Britt Baker handed Saraya 2 tickets for Dynamite in Los Angeles. Now, that's not till January 11th. Okay? And Britt said, myself and Jamie Hayter challenge you and a mystery partner to a tag team match January 11th on Dynamite. Let the speculation begin, man, because I know what everybody's going to be thinking. Everybody's going to be thinking Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is on her way to AEW. I don't know, man. But the fact that they're extending this all the way until January 11th is going to be a lot of speculation. Lots of speculation. So, we'll see. We'll see. But now the main event, FTR against The Acclaim for the Tag Team Championships. Awesome main event. I thought to myself in my head that there's no way that you can, like, I know FTR is great, they're phenomenal, but you can't take the tag titles off The Acclaim this soon. They haven't even had the titles for a full 3 months yet, and they're the most over tag team in all of wrestling right now. And I think at the end of the day, the right move was made. The Acclaim retained the AEW tag team titles with a roll up from Max Caster to Cash Wheeler, caught him off guard, retained the titles. FTR hit the big rig, and I was I thought for sure the match was over there, but nah, man, this was awesome. They had the crowd standing on their feet for the last 5 to 7 minutes of this match, and it was awesome. The Acclaimed retained the Tag Team Championships. FTR and the Acclaimed, along with Daddy Ass, Scissor in the middle of the ring, and then the Guns, the Ass Boys, showed up on the Titantron and said FTR's legacy fails, and everybody thought that we were going to get involved in the match. Well, we didn't need to because we know that FTR is trash. And in the back, there was 2 Christmas stockings, and it was a letter that the Ass Boys pulled out. They said it's a letter from the Briscoes. It's a letter from the Briscoes, and it said December 11th, final battle, and they had some other stuff in the stocking, and they pulled out 2 dog collars for a double dog collar match at Final Battle between the Briscoes and FTR for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Holy smokes. That is going to be insane. That match is going to be unbelievable, man. It could be better than the first match they had when FTR won the tag team titles. It could be better than the 2 out of 3 falls match they had back in July. And now it seems like the culmination of the rivalry will end in a double dog collar match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. The Briscoes get one more shot at the tag team titles, and that is going to be unbelievable, man. I cannot wait to see how that match goes. So I'm getting out of here tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Fuel channel. I will be back Friday for the preview for the Miami Dolphins and the Los Angeles Chargers, a big game for both teams on Sunday Night Football. I cannot wait to talk about that, guys. You're going to want to tune in to the preview on Friday. So subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on Dynamite tonight. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok as well, at Conlin_Joseph. And folks, I'm out of here. Thank y'all so much, and I will see you on Friday. Have a good one. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.